Hello, everyone. This is going to be a very interactive session. So please do well to drop your messages in the chat box. And remember, ask as many questions as possible. We are here to welcome most especially stupid questions. So let's all be stupid together and learn together. Thank you so much.
Um, Hi, Chinoy. I'm not sure if this is only me, but I'm just trying to confirm we can't hear you anymore.
Okay, I think my network went off. Sorry. I was trying to share my screen and I was asking if we were able to see my screen, but I think I went off. Network went off there. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, thank you. So I'm going to share my screen again. This is what Chinoye looks like on a very good day, especially a hot one. So I'm going to share my screen and have us join this session. And I hope we enjoy it as much as I enjoyed preparing it. Please confirm that you can see my screen by reacting on the comment section or the chat box. Sorry. Can you hear me? Okay. So I would love us to know that this is going to be a very interactive class. So I want us to ask as much questions, as much as you're learning, I'm learning as well. So there is no stupid questions, even if you consider them stupid, we'll look for the result together, we'll ask and learn together. So throw all your stupid questions, the one we don't know, we'll find a way to know them today. Thank you so much. So for our agenda today, I'll have to stop sharing now. Stop video. So for our agenda today, we're going to cover introduction to UI UX, UX fundamentals, UI basics, and then we'll have a hands-on on Figma to know what the environment and at least to design one or two. So today we are going to be talking about the basic fundamental skills in creating and converting leads through design. And at the end of this class or session, I hope we'll be able to understand the fundamentals of UI UX design, navigate and how to navigate and use Figma efficiently, which is going to be the design tool we're focusing on, and how to apply design principles and throw our knowledge around on designing a landing page using auto layout and what we've obviously have learned. So the first question we would ask ourselves today is what is UI UX? So if you know or if you have an idea what UI UX is, I think you should please help me by using the chat box. If you don't, we can just continue because we are ready to learn and we don't want to waste your time. So we can make it engaging. Please endeavor to use the chat box. UI UX, like we say, I think when I started, I initially had difficulty. Like, what's UI, what's UX? It's confusing. Until I started meeting and reading a lot of people, and I learned that UI UX means user interface. The U is user means user, and the I is interface. Why UI UX means user experience. So what do we mean by user interface? When we talk about interface, I need us to understand that interface is all about what we are interacting with. Whatever environment that you're interacting with. Right now, you may be interacting with a biro and a pen. That's an interface. You might be interacting with your phone or a laptop, a pen and a paper. That's an interface. You might even be sitting down for product designers that design physical products. You might be sitting on a chair now, interacting with it just by sitting. That's an interface as well, because your goal is to sit and rest. So imagine when you fall off that seat. Now we're talking about your experience with that seat. We're talking about your experience. If you fall down, I don't think you're going to go back to that seat. Same thing goes with software products. So when we are designing software products, when we are working on designing on software products, we're trying to solve problems for people and for ourselves. We focus on the interface that the user is going to use. We focus on we're getting questions and we're going to answer them. So please just exercise patience. So we focus on products that users are going to use. Use me, I'm trying to clear this. I'm trying to, this is, we focus on products that users are going to use, in the sense that we want it to be enjoyable, we want it to be useful, we want it to be fine, we want it to be aesthetically pleasing, we want it to be all shades of useful, not just that they are aesthetically pleasing. We want users to look at it and know that this was designed to solve a problem that I complained about. Mind you, I said I complained about, because most of us end up designing tools according to what we feel like. We are not user-centered. So when you say UI UX, I need us to understand that UI is how those things look and UX is how those things work. So I hope after today we can say, whenever we say UI UX, can be like, oh, this is UI UX, and I understand what it means. UI is user interface and UX is user experience. So we go over to the next one. And why is it important in businesses? These days we notice that everything is online. Businesses are online. A whole lot of people need something to represent whatever they are thinking about. So when you apply them in businesses, it means that, oh, if you sit down and think of a solution for your users, a solution for your clients, a solution for your customers, you end up designing according to what they've complained about. Mind you, I keep mentioning what the users have complained about, because for you to be a good UI UX designer, you have to be empathetic. It means wearing the shoes of your users, understanding and seeing the problems that they are complaining about from their own point of view, from their lenses. So you have to ask them to understand. Imagine asking for rice at a restaurant and being served beans. I don't think yes, you ate, but did you really eat? So now that is why we have to be good UI UX designers, because when you apply them in businesses, it increases your customer retention and conversions. It allows users to come back, stay back with you, say, okay, I can go to this place, I can go to this, but whenever I come here, I enjoy how they talk to me, I enjoy how the app does this, I enjoy how the app already knows what I'm thinking without even knowing what I'm thinking. And then for users, it makes tasks easier and faster. It reduces frustration. Imagine asking for a certain food in a restaurant and being served exactly what you asked for. You will go back there. I'm a jollof rice kind of person. No matter the restaurant I go to, I will order jollof rice because I don't want disappointment. So I have a good experience when it comes to jollof rice. So for me, design is applied, user experience is applied to everything I actually do. So that is the relationship I have with jollof rice, because jollof rice reduces my frustration of hunger. And then it improves user satisfaction. So in the sense that users will always be satisfied whenever they use your product. They won't be confused. They won't leave knowing that their problems were not solved. It will be solved. And then it enhances accessibility when you embody UI UX design and apply the basics very, very well in businesses. It enhances accessibility. When we talk about accessibility, we talk about ease for someone to use a certain product that you build. Ease in the sense that you consider a certain group of people and you solve a problem for that group of people without just trying to generalize it. For example, the most famous one I always use is your Siri, your Siri. Siri was not designed with the lazy people like us, like me, in mind. It was designed for the blind. It was designed for the deaf, so that whenever they can call on their phone. And then for the deaf that can't see but they can hear, for the deaf that can't hear but they can see, all they have to do is, at least once their phone is ringing, the touchlight is blinking. So accessibility for one person is accessibility for all. So when you apply all these things now, you can see that, yes, they designed Siri for the blind person that has to call to their phone. But now, me as a normal person, I use Siri, and Siri serves me very well. Siri do this, Siri do that, and Siri does it immediately. So when you apply all these UI UX basics and understand the importance of having being a good UI UX designer, you really solve problems. You really translate people's dreams, and you also make sure that your users achieve their goals immediately and faster. So understanding this now, I just mentioned user-centeredness. So I'm trying to rush us off, so we do a little hands-on practice. Understanding UX design. We understand UX, user-centered design. that it means that when you're focusing on your users, designing with user in mind at every step. In Nigeria, we have two design systems. One is Oga-centered design, and while one is user-centered design. Oga-centered design is do this, even if there is a research being conducted or a research has already been conducted, but Oga said so, so you design an Oga-centered design. And most of them goes against the rules of UI UX design. So in this class and in this journey that I hope that we're about to take, I hope that we're going to be clear and very much sure about what decisions we are taking, whether we are going to be user-centered designers or Oga-centered designers. So if we are going to be user-centered designers, it means that we have to research user needs and pain points. It means that we have to test ideas with real people. We don't solve problems. We don't just make believe a problem and then wish it into very nice user interfaces and then tell people, okay, that's it, use it. So we improve designs based on feedback. I would always tell people, I don't hear things as criticism anymore. I hear them as feedbacks. Yes, you're giving me a feedback. So what do I do about it? If you say my design is wrong, I don't feel attacked. All I ask is, how do I make it better? So if you improve design based on feedbacks, you embody, you perfect your user-centeredness. When you say, oh, I'm a user-centered designer, not just a UI UX designer, we know that you're confident in what you say because we can see that before you started, you had your users in mind. While you were designing, you had your users in mind. And when you went back for feedback to test it with them, you also had your users in mind. It improves your problem-solving skills. So please ask questions, drop whichever questions that you have in the chat box. I promise you all of them are going to be answered. Thank you so much. So we'll move over to introduction to Figma, and this is supposed to be introduction to tools. So in design, UI UX design, I think I started with Adobe XD. I started with Adobe, and the payments, the fact that it wasn't cloud-based, the fact that I could not collaborate easily, I feel like they did not consider Africans. Like I don't think they considered the group of learners in Africa. So in Africa, it chased me away, and I moved over to Figma. So when it comes to design tools, we have varieties of them. We have Figma, we have Adobe XD, we have Sketch. But currently everybody's on Figma, and I'm number one on Figma. Like I love Figma. So Figma is easy to use. Figma is easy to learn. Figma encourages education. So whenever you're educating, whenever you want to learn one or two, Figma is there to give you the opportunity. And mind you, we're in Africa. And I say cloud-based, it means that Figma allows you to, like, anything you're doing is being saved immediately. You can work on any phone, you can use it on any laptop, you can save, like you're not losing anything. It has like undo count that allows you to make mistakes and then to also like recover your mistakes. So for me, my best is Figma currently, but I'm still open to learning other tools because all design tools are always the same, but different shapes and displacement of maybe features. So we have easy prototyping, we have design systems. All these we're going to learn as we stay on this class, and I hope we enjoy learning them. Today we're going to be focusing on Figma, and I hope we learn one or two from Figma. So before we start Figma, there are things that we call UI principles. I've given us like a brief on UX, that's user experience, explaining what empathy is and how it's necessary for our design. So now we're going to talk about UI principles, and one of the UI principles is typography. As much as we all like to have wonderful websites, we should also remember that the main aim of our website is to transmit a message written in font. So we need to know that typography is very, very important. Typography, choosing fonts, making sure that you choose fonts that are readable, making sure you choose the right font for the right moment or for the right project that you're working on. Imagine threatening somebody with a Comic Sans. I think as I'll take the threats, like I'll be like, that's a very funny threat. Like, you really want to kill me? But imagine really threatening me with a devilish font. I will take you serious even when you're telling me to joke. So typography is very much an important UI principles, and choosing fonts for readability helps us design better. We have a question, and it's from Wahab Mubarak. Mubarak is raising his hand, so please, can we hear you? before we continue?
Good evening.
Good evening.
It's not a question. I don't know if it's just from me, but sometimes when you're talking, it just cuts through. Then we hear your voice again, and sometimes it's in between.
Sorry, please, is any other person having this problem? So I know if I can change or adjust my. Which other person is having this problem? With a show of hands, please.
Sometimes I can't really hear what you are saying. Good evening, everyone.
Sorry. Good evening, Chikube.
Thank you.
Sorry. Please, are we having network issue here? Can we hear from someone else?
I can hear you clearly. I think it's from your side. I can hear you clearly. I think it's from this people's side.
I can also hear you clearly from this side. The network has not been breaking. It has been fluent.
The network is not been breaking.
Actually, it's not from the network, it's from your voice. At times I could hear you, then at times it looks like your voice gets lower than it was.
Okay, sorry, I'll do better.
Yes.
Sorry, I'll do
Thank
better, okay?
Okay.
And if that's all, I promise you, just like you're my user now, you've complained, I'm going to listen to you. So where is my speaker? You will hear me today. So let's talk about typography. When we are talking about typography, like I mentioned, typography involves like representing the main aim, the information you want us to know about a website, not just the images, not just the animations and all. Remembering that we came to this website to read news, or we came to the website for a podcast show, we came to this website to shop. At the end of the day, if you see images without instructions, you won't know whether you're buying or you're selling. Do you understand? So typography is key, and knowing what typography to use is also key as well. So we have to learn how to choose fonts for readability, and choosing the right fonts, and choosing the proper fonts, and choosing the spacings that we need. So all these will be like very much explained to us in our masterclass. But for now, I need us to take this away that we have sans serif fonts when you're choosing the right font, and we have serif fonts. Serif fonts are fonts with hooks. Like when you look at Times New Romans, when you look at luxury websites, most of them are always like cormorants. There are so many like fonts that have hooks and they can stand on them. So you know those teas that have like hooks on them, or when they're standing on a certain hook, unlike what we are working with now, which is a sans serif. So sans is actually like the French word for not, no hook, and there is hook in this. So there are fonts with hooks, and then there are fonts without hooks. Sans serifs are fonts without hooks. And for example, what we used in designing this is an open sans. An open sans is one without hook. It's a sans serif. They are modern and easy to read on screens, while sans serifs are very much formal, traditional, and I would say very much classy. So if you look at your phone right now, just browse any website you know that does fashion, that does jewelry, you just know that it's usually serif fonts. They never make that mistake for their headers, for everything, because it's perceived as classy. So now we look at headline, proper use of those fonts. We have headlines, we have body text. Body text are like the ones we use for the body of the website, the main body of the website. While headers are like the one where what I'm using here for my UI principles, we can call them headers. While what we're using here, we can call them body text. So while doing that, we should also remember line spacing. We should remember that if I have my first line of text here and I have the second line of text here, what you're telling me is that they are different. I can't make you believe that it's the same thing, like I'm writing a composition, or like I need you to know that they all come together. So right now we have to understand that spacing matters, using proper font sizes matters, and also choosing the right font matters. So imagine you could design some luxury website, some fashion website, and you go with sans serif, but it would throw me off, or it would throw someone off who jumps on your website and they're like, what am I doing here? Without knowing that, oh, this is a fashion website. And like I said, like I've read, users like what they're already used to, just differently. So if I go to Zara and it's serif, I go to Gucci, I go to all those brands and I come to you. I think maybe you're up and coming, like you're just not there, but I believe in you, but let me go get from them. So that is what we need to know about UI principles with focus on typography. Then we have contrast and color psychology. So when we talk about contrast, we're talking about readability as well. We're talking about choosing the right font style, for your designs as well. So we have dark text on a light background, that's good contrast. We have light text on a dark background, that's also a good contrast. Avoid low contrast combination. So contrast is making sure, like if I have a very low contrast here, it means that maybe I'm using a faint red and a faint white. Like it won't even be accessible. I mentioned accessibility before. There is something called accessibility checkers. When you're done designing, you check them, use accessibility checkers to check the contrast to know if it's readable for your audience. And most times they are rated in AAAs. And if yours doesn't meet that mark, they will tell you, oh, this is wrong, we can't take it. So these are just the easiest way. Dark text on a light background, light text on a dark background. You can't use dark text on a dark background, like it will be lost and we will not see the information you're trying to give us. And then there is color psychology, how colors make users feel. We know that blue is likened with trust, professionalism. We also know that red is likened with urgency, excitement, and then we have green, which is likened to growth, health, and used in wellness and finance. And then we have black and white for minimalism and luxury. If we are going to leave this here, I am of the opinion that not just those colors, hue, for example, hue is red, yellow, green, yellow, different type of color names that we know. I'm of the opinion that hue does not just make users feel a certain way, because what if we use a very light shade of red? It becomes soft for kids. When you use a very dark shade of red, it becomes danger. So I feel like colors and psychology of colors should be based on the softness, or should I say the amount of white in a color, and not just maybe the tonality. Should I say tonality or the shade of the color? So, but that's what we're going to find out as this class is continuing. I hope we learn a whole lot. Please keep dropping your messages because they will be answered. So before we start designing, I need us to know what white spacing is. I need us to know what grids are. I need us to know why we need them and their common types, because they are all classified under spacings and layout for UI principles as well. So imagine if I jam-packed all these together, you would not really read them. For white spacing, like my mentor will always say, Chinoye, make your design to float. This design, it's readable now because they are all spaced out. So if they are all spaced out and they are floating, people can read them easily. You're not making it difficult for your user. Yes, I've designed something nice, but can I use it? Is it usable? Is it usable? Like, what's the usability like? Is it accessible? Can I actually enjoy? Did you solve my problem? So when we are doing this, white space or negative space is the empty space between design elements. We can call this negative space. We can call all these negative space because it isn't wasted space. It improves readability and makes design feel less cluttered. Then we talk about why white spacing matters. It makes text easier to read. It helps users to focus on important elements, that's hierarchy, and it gives designs a clean and modern look. So then we go over to grids. Grid system and structuring your layouts generally means that if you look at this design now, you can see that there is an imaginary line that runs from top to bottom. That's a grid that I followed, and it was consistent till I finished on all our slides. So sometimes you see a design that you like and you're like, there's something about this design, it's so nice, it's so this, it's so that. They just followed all these necessary fundamentals, all these UI principles. They are core and they know it matters. So as a good UI UX designer who is starting his or her journey today, I need us to remember that color, typography, spacings, and layouts, which are the UI principles, are very much needed and important. So Examples of grids. Grids help designers align elements properly, help keeping designs consistent and visually balanced. So when we say visually balanced, I would always tell people, run a line in between your design from top to bottom. Do they look equal? If they look equal, then maybe at least you're on the right side, you're getting there. But if you run it left to right and something is off, try as much as possible to balance them, check your grid. So it keeps them balanced. And like you mentioned, consistency, it helps. Like I won't be confused on the next screen. What do I do on the next screen? It will be consistent and my users will not be stressed out. Should they read from right to left or should they read from left to right? What do they do? But they're not going to be confused. So we have common grid types where we have 12-column grid. That's standard for web design, allowing flexible, or should I say accessible, responsive layout. And then we have 8-point spacing system that ensures consistent spacing in UI elements, example, buttons and icons. So all these, which leads us to the last, which is auto layout. All these are going to be principles that we're about to apply very soon in designing our landing page. We're going to design a very wonderful landing page, and I hope we enjoy doing that together because I enjoy preparing for us. So the last but not the least, the Ogbonge of them all, the OG of all layouts. I think we need to give auto layouts like good. We need to welcome auto layout because auto layout has made great men and women cry. So, and if I say I didn't cry, I might not be a great woman yet, but I cried. So let's give a warm welcome for auto layout. Auto layout is a Figma feature that makes designing faster and more flexible. So what we mean by that is, there's something wrong here. What we mean by that is that when we are designing initially, or when I start learning Figma, I start with like a rectangle, then transition to frames. Right now, I'm all for auto layout. I could manually arrange my designs and make sure that they are following a certain grid and standard. Yes, they will be all aligned and all, but that stress of doing all that, auto layout, just like the name, automatic layout, is a feature that automatically lays out your design, your layout, and then it also increases and improves responsiveness. So if you're designing and you want everything to stay in place, to be fixed, you want everything, you want it to be responsive. I've mentioned responsiveness like more times that I can count now. Responsiveness is the ability of your design to appear on different devices without losing its experience. It's called continuity in design. So when your website or your software or whatever you're working on is very much consistent across all devices, you can say it's responsive. We also have adaptive, but for now, let's focus on responsive. So auto layout allows us to achieve that because it just becomes fluid. Just like we know water takes the shape of whatever space you put in, it becomes fluid. So in auto layout, we're going to learn fill, hub, and fix, know when to use fill, know when to use fix and hub. So over now, we're going to have to look at a hands-on exercise. We're going to design a landing page, I think a portfolio landing page. And I hope we enjoy the process. And while we're getting ready, we are open for questions that we can answer before we start getting our hands creative. Let me not say dirty. So please throw your questions out now. Let's answer them happily or find the answers together. Use the chat box. Yeah, charging started. Are we here? Why is nobody talking? Don't like talking to myself. I don't like.
Thank you very much. That was very beautiful. Someone's trying to speak.
Okay. I'm trying to.
Wait, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. I can hear you. Can we all hear me?
Yeah, we can. So I was saying that was very beautiful. Thank you very much for that. I mean, the first question that I threw out was, maybe you could just try by giving us a difference between who a product designer is and who a UI designer is.
Okay, to the best of my knowledge, UI UX designer is basically someone who is involved in designing the user interface and considers the user experience of, like, that's the only journey that you're focused on. Maybe you're only focused on making sure that that's web product that you're working on, the prototype that you're working on is very much interactive at the moment. Like, you focus on it just that moment, that journey. Then being a product designer involves a whole bigger thing. It also means like you're going to design both, not just digital, you're also designing physical tools. You design laptops, you design phones, you design things that are useful. You can even design services. You can help design a house, like, it's a tangible product. Like, if you look at all Apple products, they all have the same corner radius. Corner radius is the edge of your devices. All Apple products have the same corner radius. So someone is responsible for that, and that person can be called a product designer. Because yes, not just is it physical, it's product. And also, to the best of my knowledge, I consider a product designer someone that is involved from the start of the design process to the finish. Some UI UX designer can do the design, make sure that it's very much interactive, and just leave it for you and be on their way. You can find user testers, you can find people to like feedback, and all they need is, okay, we've done our iteration process, we are back to you, see what they complained about. Do you understand? So I feel, or I know, let me not just talk about feeling, I know that I've worked with a product designer who oversees all those design process, while in that journey, I was a UI UX designer. So do you understand the difference now? And was I able to like explain to you what I know about the difference?
Yeah, that was very cool. I mean, maybe as we move on, I would like to know more about rules. I think when you were talking about people design like how models, some stuff like that, like what do you call it, mock-ups or phones or physical devices. That's like rendering. Am I correct?
Sorry, I didn't get your question. When you're talking about mock-ups or what, please?
Like designing of like houses, like for example, there are people who design like how the interior of a house looks like, or a particular product looks like, or how it will look like. Is that like rendering?
Honestly speaking, I don't understand that question, not because you're not asking properly, but because I just don't understand the connection right now. So when you say rendering in building, I honestly do not understand.
Yeah, because I know a product designer who does rendering. Is that like a field under product design? That's what I'm asking.
Okay, when it comes to UI UX design, when it comes to product design, there is very much like there is too much career roles in product design. Like, there's so many things you can do. You can be an iconographer, you can be a typographer, you can be a UX researcher, you can even be like a service designer. I know someone that is a service designer, in the sense that they're building a stadium, if they're building something huge, she comes in and tells you the ease of people moving in and out of this building, of this house. Like, it will make sense if the kitchen is very much connected to the house, how many steps away. It will make sure when we're designing for this particular person, if you're designing for this particular group of people, for students, you can't have like house like for family of 4, and you build it for students or in a student hostel. It can't fit, because you don't expect everybody to be cooking in the same kitchen at the same time. Like, it will cause conflict of interest at some point. So I know someone that is involved in those processes as a designer. She doesn't even open Figma as much as we all do, because she has gotten to that point where her only goal is satisfaction of users, making sure her users do not stress, making sure that people that live in houses that she's involved in do not get stressed. So Figma UI UX is not just by opening Figma, Adobe, and Sketch. When you delve into it, there are so many opportunities. Like, you can even marry your discipline together with it, solve problem in medtech, solve problem in fintech, wherever we are coming from. If you're transitioning, if you're switching careers, like, there is room for every problem you're coming into design with. And you're going to solve them if you remember to own your voice and to know that, okay, this is what I'm coming to do. So I hope I answered your question.
Yes, you will shed more clarity and light into it. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for asking. Okay, everyone, I'm still open for questions, but right now we'll make sure to use the chat box. So this is a UI interface. Like this is the Figma UI interface for Figma, where on the left-hand side, we have our files. It shows us what we have on this. Most times I call this like a Figma dashboard because it's almost a dashboard. So this is what you call a Figma interface. So over here, we are going to, this space is where we are going to be designing something. Okay. This space we are going to be designing. Please exercise patience. I'm having difficulty with my laptop. It's overheating. So this website, this particular landing page is what we are going to work on currently. We'll see how we achieved all these as simple as it looks. We'll design and then teach us how we can continue to the rest. And then at the end of the day, we'll have a wonderful task that we can take home and also apply them, or at least give us feedback. Let's see what you do. We would love to see what each and every one of us can or cannot do. So as a newbie, the first thing you're supposed to do is to download Figma. Go on go on Safari, go on whatever design, Google this thing, Chrome, design, download Figma and put it into your system. When you do that, you are going to be welcomed into a world of design where you open up a new file, a new folder, and just get into action. So today we are going to be replicating this particular website. Is a desktop design of a portfolio for a UI for a front-end designer. I'm sorry, my laptop is overheating and it's just slow a little. So before we start, I want us to take a little information, at least take 1 or 2 out of this before this class ends. And whenever you see a website, this part of the website is called your header. This part of your website is called the hero section. This is the body of the website. And then you have the footer. So just like we have head, shoulder, knees, and toe, we have head and footer.
Sorry, Chinoye. After the header, what did you call the next section?
After the header, we have the hero section.
Hero section.
Hero, H-E-R-O, hero section.
Okay.
We have header, we have hero, we have body of the website, and then we have the footer. Any other question, any other confusion, we're here for you. Do we have any other question? Okay, so we're going to continue. So we have our header, we have our footer, and we have the body of the text, body of the website. So before we do that, we can see that this website has a certain amount of color. And then the contrast is easy and readable for everybody. The contrast is wonderful. We can easily read what we have. So for this header, we are going to start by first, remember we talked about layout. So if you look at this layout, you can see that the grid, everything is following the same pattern. So we're going to achieve that today. So before we start, the first thing you're going to do, oh my God, please don't do this to us. The first thing you're going to do is to drag out a frame, and I will be glad if we implement shortcuts. So you click the letter F on your keyboard for your desktop. This is a desktop design anyway. So you click the letter F or you click the letter A on your desktop and you choose whichever desktop you want to design for. Our laptops come in different sizes. Some at 1280 the weight from left to right. We have others 1720, 28, that's 1728. We have just 1440, that's 1440. We also have for TVs as well. So for now, I think we should work with the more just let's start with this. You click on MacBook Air. I'm sorry for this. I'm having my network, my laptop is overheating and is a little bit slow. Please forgive her manners. She will do better next time. So for this now, we start here. So I have this rule where I always label whatever I'm doing. So the first thing I'm going to do is to label my website, my desktop, Ada's portfolio, and name it. Do we have any Ada in the room? Let's dedicate this design to her. Ada's portfolio. And then when we do that, we'll notice that the body of this website is dark. So let's just choose a dark one. We'll change the color of the website. Wait, please come back. Please, you have to forgive our manners today. This is too much.
Please, I have a question.
Please ask. Why are you for my...
So now you are on a website or you are on Figma? Which one?
I'm on Figma. Like I said, for a new user, before you start, you download Figma, but you can also use Figma on your browser. But okay. I'm on Figma web, like Figma app. Or even Figma. If you use Figma on your browser, it's still the same. Okay. There is no difference. Yes. So I changed the color. Let me undo this action now, so we can see what we did. So initially we have white. So I clicked on this, the color section where we have FFFFF. That's a hex code. This is called a hex code. I changed it. I selected the color, and then this is called a color picker. Using this color picker, I go over here and pick the color that's the color of the background that we're working with. And that is it. So before we start, we talked about auto layout, if you remember. So we're going to add auto layout to this particular website, to this particular frame, so that whatever we are doing is going to be adapting to this particular website. And then we know that, okay, this is the final place that we're working on, and not just randomly throwing designs into it. So for this ADAS portfolio, the first thing we are going to do is to go over here where we have the layout. This is the width and this is the height. So for that, but what we are going to do here is to click on this icon. These are called icons. Whenever you see those tiny illustrations, they are all called icons. You click on them to use auto layout. So mind you, anything you click on, anything you hover on, we know what hovering is. Anything you hover on in Figma tells you the name of whatever you're trying to do, so you're not confused. So right now, we click on auto layout. Now we've added auto layout. You can also add auto layout by using a shortcut. You hold your shift and press the letter A. Shift plus A, that's the shortcut. Or you just use these shortcuts here. Or you use that icon over here. And the moment we added the icon, you realize that it changed from having, it gave us like a layout, it gave us alignment, it gave us how they want the website to look, it gave us the spacings, the paddings everywhere. So I would want us to understand this for the essence of auto layout. If you come over here where you have W, it's called 1280 width in pixel. We use pixel in design and we use rem in development. So where you have 1280 rem, that's the width, then you have 832, that's the height. Then you look at the alignment. Right now we have a horizontal alignment, which means that whatever we are going to place on this frame will go from left to right, as opposed to what we have on the design we are replicating, top to bottom. So we remember that whenever we are doing desktop designs, website design is always going to be vertical layout. So we click on vertical layout. Then we come over here. I always put them all from 8 to 0. I'll put them back to 0. And then for this is what you call, this is the space between.
Sorry, ma'am. So sorry. Sorry for cutting you. Currently, I'm also on Figma. But
you're on Figma?
Yes, on my system, I'm trying to like do what you are doing, but oh boy, I was given another template.
Okay.
So I don't know. Because right now I can tell you I'm lost.
Okay. You drew up a new file, right? A new design environment, right?
Yes.
So the current Figma comes with template for new users, and it just gives you the template so that you can try your hands, and maybe in case you need something fast, something like this. You saw something like this, right?
Yeah, something like this.
So you're still on the right track. All I need you to do now is to click using your cursor, click on the empty space. If you click on the empty space, find somewhere blank.
Okay, so sorry. And then I don't know how to zoom out. I want to zoom out, but it is not zooming out.
Okay, if you want to zoom out, use the plus and the minus button on your keyboard. I'm pressing the plus button now.
Okay, so sorry. I thought it was
You don't
something
apologize. It's new. You're new.
like Photoshop. So I was pressing Control, the minus button, but it was not working.
Okay.
Okay, yes, it is working. Okay.
Thank you. Do we have any other confusion?
Yes, so how do I, because now I'm now on what's it called, an empty space. So you said, what should I do next? So sorry.
Click on the empty face.
Yes.
Sorry. I need you to click on the letter F for frames.
Okay, I've done that.
Click F, see different options on the right.
Okay.
Where you have different frame size, that's different devices. And now we are going to look for the device that we are working with. We are working with MacBook Air. Click on the desktop so that you have a drop down. Then when you click on it, you see MacBook Air 1280 by 832. Click on that MacBook.
The 1280
by 832.
Yes, I've done that.
Have you clicked on it?
Yes.
What did you see?
It gave me small box, just like
Yes.
the one with you. Yes, the small white.
That's your frame, and that's what we're going to be working on. That is going to be our interface. That is what we're going to be designing on. Do you understand now?
All right.
Then, thank you so much.
I have a question.
Please ask.
I'm on Figma too, but the only F I can see on the left. I can't see anything on my right.
You're on Figma, and you can only see what on your left.
I can only see F on my left.
On your left?
Yes.
You don't have these nav bars left and right?
No, I don't.
Okay. Press hold. If you're on a Mac, press hold backward slash. Once I press it now, these disappear. Is this what you have?
No, mine is empty. There's nothing, there's blank.
It's blank. Like you just have like nothing on left hand. Please, can you snap and send to the community so we see?
All right, okay.
Thank you so much. Can we continue?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you so much. So for Adeboye, Emmanuel, what we did after that, after we added this frame, we went, let me delete and start afresh. Although I don't want us to be doing this. So I click on F, I drag out my MacBook Air frame, put it here. And put it side by side. And after doing that, please come down. Thank you. And after doing that, you go over here where we have layout under positioning. That's the position section. We go over layout. I go over to the layout. Right now, you can see that there is no auto layout to it. I go over to this place. This icon here is what you call auto layout. To use auto layout, I can just press on it. Once you click, if you notice now, there is nothing under here except the width and the height, and then click content. But the moment we click on it, it gives us auto layout function. It went from layout to auto layout. Do we understand now?
Yes.
Okay. And when we do that, we want our content, the content of this website, to be stacked from top to bottom. We don't want it to be stacked left to right. We want the sections to be stacked top to bottom. So what we'll do, we come over here under this. This is the width, this is the height. And this also is the direction of the alignment of the content that we're going to put inside this frame. We click on a vertical layout. First thing first, I usually name my layout. I hate not naming my layouts because I don't want to be confused. Ada's portfolio. Thank you. So we'll go back to auto layout. I take this back to 0. This is the space in between. This is the vertical gap between objects. So I always leave mine to 0 so that I apply them myself. Then this is what you call horizontal padding. That is the margin, the spacing on the left and the right. For ease of anything, I always call them left and right, because I think during development they're called left, right, top, and bottom. So for the aim of us understanding, we are promoting understanding in this class. we will call it the word that we would easily remember. So the first one is left and right. So we take the left and right to 0. And then this is top to bottom. We take it to 0 as well. Do we understand now?
Yes.
We done the same. And then we come down to fill, where we have the hex code FFFF. We click on this hex code. What we are trying to do is to pick the color of this website. We use the color picker. We call this the color picker. We click on it. We go over to the website. Where are you, my color picker? We come over here and we pick this color. Once you click on it, it picks the color. Currently, the color is in HSL, that's hue, saturation, and lightness also. We take it back to hex code. So why we need hex code is because everybody's laptop is different and we all see different colors. That's what we also call accessibility. So whenever you want to design something, be keen to ask for your hex code, because no matter how the website you display, any type of hex code is the same. But if you just go, oh, it's red, what is red to you could be dark pink to me, and what is dark pink to you could be yellow to me, and others seeing black and white. So always ask for your hex code so you won't be confused. So we've set our design and we are ready to design. Like I explained earlier, this is the header, and we are going to design this header before every other thing. And inside this header, we have, like, let's assume this is a logo. We have this logo at Adoris, which is a logo. We have other buttons, header links, or I call them buttons, I call them header links, that will take us to different pages. And then we have a button. So we have logo, we have header links, we have buttons. So for us to create that, we start from left to right. Remember, in the part of the world that we are in, we read from left to right. So I always design from left to right, and I design outside my container. When I'm done, I place it inside. So for the sake of typography, we are going to choose a typography, and we're going to press T on our keyboard to choose any typography you want. Once you press T, you drop it there. Let's go for, okay, for this website, we're going to use Chekube's name, Chekube's website, Chekube. And then immediately we press the T, you notice that we had the typography section released to us over here. So the name Chekube is in Helvetica Neue, but if you want to change it, you can change it from Helvetica Neue to, once you click on it, these are all serif because you can see the hooks. It even has the name serif. So for this website, we'll go with Enter, which is everybody's safe font. We're going to go with Enter. And however, as much as we have need for, we have a question. As much as we have need. Okay. Sorry, I just got the image sent by Ore. Ore, you're on the right track. And where you are currently is on the action menu. So click on an empty space. Ore, please, can you hear me? Ore, can we hear me? Am I audible to everybody?
Yes.
Okay. So please click on the empty space. That empty space, click on it and click the letter F. And then you're going to be on the same page. It's obvious that you're using the browser. Are you using the browser or the...
Sorry, which letter are we to click?
For what? For the text, letter T, typography. Yes. Once you click on it, your cursor becomes a plus sign, and you drop it anywhere. You just click on an empty space as well and start typing. So you type Chekube. So for now, we've chosen our font, which is Enter. Then we're going to go over to choosing the heaviness or the weight, or should we call it the weight of this particular typography we just chose. So for Chekube, we don't want it to be regular, we don't want it to be medium, we don't want it to be semi-bold. We're going with bold, as we can see on the design. Please stop doing this. As we can see on the design, this is bold. this design is bold, and all these here are all not bold. They are all regular weights. Like when you talk about the weight, it means semi-bold, bold. You're talking about the heaviness of the font, of the whatever font that you've chosen. That's the family of it. So we make it bold. Please ask questions and call me back if you need help. Then we can say, okay, this is the logo. Remember, we are working with Adobe Doris as the logo. So for the sake of our design, we are going to work with Chekwube as our logo. Let me take it over here since my laptop is being. Thank you. So we take it over here and we make it Chekwube. Chekwube, what's your favorite color? Let's design according to your own color.
Brown.
Brown. Do you have another color?
Pink.
Okay, we'll go with pink. So Chekwube just give us pink. So we're going to be working with pink. So now we've increased this to bold, and then we are going to increase the size from size 18. Remember, our sizes are all in pixel, to size 24. We want to use that as our header, as our logo. So that being the logo, we've designed this and we'll keep it. Then we move over to the next, which are all these header links inside. We'll start designing each and every one of them. Remember, what we are working on is Chekube's portfolio. So again, we type projects. What size? Okay, another thing I need us to note is you can also write this down for your body text. If you're designing for a desktop, your body text, that's the content of the website, should be size 16 pixel and above. If you're designing for a tablet, it should be 14 pixels and above. If you're designing for mobile, it works for me, it should be 12 pixels and above. So for the sake of this desktop design that we're working on, our body text, that is the size for these projects, we're going to be using 16. But some fonts, or should I say some fonts can appear taller. You know the way most of us are tall, short, long, shorter, medium, and all. Most of them can naturally be tall and long. So their 16 might be 18 for other people, or their 16 might be 14. So you work with what you're designing for, and you also look at the fonts that you're using. So for this design, we're going to make projects, and then we add auto
I have a
layout.
question.
Please ask Siri.
For the 14 pixel and above, which of them?
That's for tablet.
For tablet, then for the 12.
Mobile, when you're designing for mobile.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. So now we've seen that this is not just, we're going to inspect first. I'm sorry we didn't inspect. We're going to inspect first. This is, you can see that the project is floating. This is the header link. This is floating as well. It's designed as a button. So for the sake of this design, we're going to design them as they are supposed to be and make them buttons, make them clickable. They're supposed to be clickable. So for this, we type project, and then we add auto layout to it. Remember, auto layout is very much key in this website that we are designing. So we're going to add auto layout to this text. Please, can you stop doing this? So for us to add auto layout, I'll press Shift plus A. Press holding Shift. Did everybody see what happened just now? Press hold Shift and press the letter A. Or after typing the text, let me undo. Or after adding the text, you can add auto layout. You press hold, you right click using your mouse, or you double click with your fingers and add auto layout. Please, I would want us to achieve, even if it's the header and the hero section now, and if I'm allowed to design, I would answer all your questions at the end of the day. Is that fine? I hope that's fine with everybody. So let's undo and start afresh. So for this particular one now, we add auto layout using Shift A. We add auto layout. And once we do, we label it and let's call it link. maybe link 1. Then we duplicate. How do we duplicate? By pressing Control. If you're using Mac, you press Command. Hold your Command, hold your Control, and click the D. You can see that once I press Control D, Command D, it duplicates. And then if I press it one more time, it duplicates again. That is what we have here. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we'll move over. My network is unstable. Then we move over to download my resume. So in design, we can call this primary. See, these are all called CTA. This is a CTA button, call to action button. So we're going to design it and fill it with color. Over here, you can see that it has white and then it has dark as a text. So we type out, we press T again and type out download my resume. Download my resume. Oh, this is a mistake. Download my resume. And then we add auto layout to it as well using Shift A, or we press hold. We right click on our mouse and add auto layout. We rename it button. Let's name it CTA button for the sake of this design. Right now, we want to style this. We want it to be the same as what we are looking at right now. We want it to have like feel of white and the text should change. So the first thing we'll do is this. Currently, we can only see, mind you, whenever you use auto layout, whenever you use Shift A or you add auto layout to a design, it converts it into a frame immediately. It converts it into a mini button if it's just a single text inside. So in this aspect now, you can just, when we only have, currently we only have text inside, you click on the text. Can we hear me? The network is a bit fluctuating. Please confirm that you can hear me.
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes, we can.
Okay, good. So now I'm clicking on the text. And while clicking on this text, I go down to fill for the color. When I go to the color, I'll click on the color. Currently, we don't have a designated black or we don't have a designated dark color. So let's just go with a very accessible dark color, maybe 3A, 3A, 3A. These colors are very easy. Sometimes it is assumed that it's not easy. It's not just that it's assumed. According to research, we shouldn't use very sharp white. That's the sharpest white, that's FFF, and the sharpest black, that's 000. When they are together, placed together, it's not good for the eye. It's not really accessible. That's why we're not using 000 for dark. We're using 3A, 3A, 3A. So we design a very accessible design. So now that we've changed the color of the text, we fill this container, we fill this button with white. If you look at, if I'm clicking outside, if I click on this button, you will notice that it's empty when it comes to fill. But if I click on the text, you will notice that it is filled, the color is filled. So right now we are trying to fill this button and not the text. So we fill it by clicking on this plus sign. Now we can see that we've gotten what we're doing. So we've gotten the CTA button. Right now we can see that it has corner radius. The edges, those are what we call corner radius. It has corner radius of either 4 or 8. So we come over here under the appearance section. We touch it up here. We make it 8. And right now you can see that it's the same as what we are trying to replicate. I hope you're on the same page right now. I hope you're on the same page and not confused as well. So looking at it, we'll also notice that this download my resume looks heavier than what we are working on. So if we are to inspect it, you will see that, is someone talking? If you're inspecting it, you'll see that it is medium. So it is heavier than what we have as opposed to what we have. I'm sure that what we have here is regular. Yes, it's regular. So we change it from regular to medium, so the heaviness and the weight will increase. Now this is where we start applying auto layout. First thing first, we group all these links together. So auto layout, not just laying other things, also a grouping method, and it also applies to help you group things equally. You can inspect them, they will have equal spacing, it is floating in the middle, none is like nudging to the left or nudging to the right. So remember that we have 3 containers here. Let's call them container 1, where Adadoris is container 1. Then container 2 contains all the projects. You can see that they are all grouped together. Then you go over to this one. This is the 3rd container. So first thing first, we're going to group these 3 together using auto layout. So we click on link 1, press holding our shift key, click on link 2, press holding our shift key, click on link 3, press holding our shift key, click on link 4, press holding our shift key, and then we press shift A to add auto layout, or we use our we can right click on our mouse and do what, and add auto layout. Stop being slow. Notice that we've grouped them all together, and once we group them together, they become a frame. So we rename them from frame to header links. Always name your frames so that when you want to adjust them, you can easily find them. So now we have 3 containers just like we have here, 1, 2, 3. One where Chekube is the logo, the header link is in the middle, and then we have the CTA button. So to make them one container, to group them finally together, what we have to do is, remember we are working towards creating a header. We click on Chekube. We click on Chekube being the logo. We click on the header link. That's the header links that we just saved now. Then we click on this, press holding your shift key. You click on the CTA button, and then you add auto layout, add auto layout, add auto layout. So now we've grouped them together, and then the next thing we'll do is to name our header, to name it to header.
Please, how did you group them together?
By press holding all the containers that, where did you lose me? Where did you lose me?
First of all, I lost you at the place where you clicked on link, where it showed link 1, link 2, link 3, and 4.
And I promise you something, for the sake of this class, document all your confusions. I'll answer them in the community. It's a promise. So, or you can wait after the class. I will just do that for you. So right now we've created the header. But looking at the header that we have created, and the header that we are recreating or we are redesigning, you'll notice that it seems like it's floating, it's breathing, it has negative spacing. Remember we talked about negative spacing. So it has white space. It might not be white in this aspect, but it has pink space around it, which means that it allows this design to float. But if you look at our own, it's not floating. It looks like it's it's not breathing. It looks choky to me. So what do? We click on it, we come over here. We remember we talked about top, up and down padding, or we can call them vertical padding. Let's look at the vertical padding that they used here. They use 56 and 30. So for the sake of this our design, we'll use 24 by 24 for up and down, but up and down padding. So we click on it and type 24 pixel. And then we notice that there is also spacing on the left and the right. So we click on that as well. Let's make it 40. So right now, you can see that our text, our header is now floating just like the one we are trying to redesign. Have we all gotten to this point? Emmanuel, are you on the same page as me. You said you're designing. You said you're designing as well. You're on-
Yes, I am. We are currently on the same page, but
Okay.
currently my what will I call it? The God, English is hard, but the thing is, my first header, which is because I'm using my name, which is I used Fema Prime, which is
Chekube.
yeah, Chebube, yes, and then the project, and they download my resume.
Yes.
The spacing between mine is way much.
In Chekube.
Yes, I think it was while I was trying to type, I gave it a lot of spaces. So when I did the what's it called auto aligning,
layout.
so the space was still constant. So I don't know if I can push it together also. There's a way.
When it comes to spacing, I wanted to teach us that when we place our design, this header into this particular frame. So don't worry about that spacing, but to rush up what we have so that Chekube will not feel left out. Chekube, remember that before we got to this point, you said you had issues with it. You used auto layout. We typed out project, and then using our mouse, we added auto layout. After adding auto layout, we duplicated by holding Control or Command key and pressing. So whenever I say press hold Command, or whenever I say Command plus this, it means press hold Command. Whenever I say Shift plus this, it means press hold your Shift. The way we know Command C, Command V, just know that Control C and Control V should also remind us that what I'm trying to say is Command or Control plus this. I'm trying to say press hold the first instruction of the first word. So I pressed Command D and I duplicated into 3 places where I had project. And after doing that, I grouped them all using auto layout. I highlighted the first one, the second one, and the third one and fourth one. And then I added auto layout by right-clicking on my mouse or press holding my trackpad. I don't know which one you're using. Are you using your mouse? Which one are you using? So I can tailor it down to the ease of design. So when I did that, I added another auto layout. So have I helped you come up to where we are now? Because I know that was the step that you had issues with. Chekube, are you there?
Yes, I'm there. I'm still a bit confused. Sorry.
Okay, please explain. Talk about your question.
I'm still a bit confused. Can you come again?
Okay.
Yes.
So first thing first, I typed, where did you stop? Where did you lose me?
The link 1, link 2, link 3, and 4.
Okay. After I made my projects, let me name them projects. I added auto layout by pressing Shift A, that's Shift plus A.
Okay.
That's Shift plus A, that's a shortcut, or you can right click. So I'm waiting for it to kick in. My laptop is slow. Then when I did that, it has already turned it into a frame. I renamed it, always rename to link, made it a link. And then I duplicated into 3 places to have 4 links by pressing Command D. Please be fast. Please. And then I press Command D again to press Command D 3. Now I have 4 of it. So the next thing I will do is to highlight. I highlight the 4 of them and I press Shift plus A, or I press Add Auto Layout. I add this option. So always have 2 options for your users. So I press Shift plus A and I added auto layout and renamed it to header links. So I won't be confused. Please go on. Is this where you are?
Yes.
Okay, so these header links now is what we have here. We already typed out Chekube, we typed out this. Do you know how we got this download my resume?
Yes.
Okay. Then we now grouped the 3 of them together using auto layout. So once we highlighted the 3 of them, we press Shift A and we added auto layout. Does it make sense to you now?
Yes.
And after that, we added left and right padding, up and down padding, where we have left and right 40 pixel, up and down 24 pixel.
Okay.
Go back here. Thank you. Now we'll fill this with pink. Chekube said she likes pink. So first thing, once you add it, it's going to, like, once you press this add fill, the plus icon, is going to give you automatic white. But don't be scared. So we're going to choose our own color. We choose what Chekube wants. Remember, Chekube is our #1 user for this class. So we do whatever she wants. So now this is what Chekube wants. Chekube wants pink. Is this shade of pink okay for you?
Yes.
So now we copy this. We either copy by pressing Command C or you press Command X to cut. So if I press Command X, I'm cutting it off the screen. It will now appear there again. So when we press Command C, we click on this frame, Ada's portfolio. Let me make sure we are in the middle. Once we click on the frame, we press Command V or Control V to paste it inside. Are we on the same page? Favor, Emmanuel, are we on the same page? Are we on the same page? You place inside. Once you place it inside, you can see that it's attached to the left, which is not the same thing as what we have here, right? Now that is where auto layout comes in play. Once you're talking about a fluid design, it means that you can drag it from right to left and bring it back, and it's the same thing, like it's fluid. It's the same thing. So currently is in fixed. So what do? We click on the container. When we're talking about auto layout, especially when we start putting content into the frame, I want us to see auto layout as water and the container. Whatever you're putting inside a container, whenever you're pouring water into anything, it takes the shape of that container. So you don't say add water inside this container, or you don't just say fix water inside this container. You say fill up this container with water, fill up this frame with water, fill up this portfolio with this header. So we'll go over to auto layout, making sure that you're clicking on this. We see this header now as water that we are trying to fill up, and then this Ada's portfolio as a container that we are filling up. We go over here, you can see that it's hugging, which means that currently it's hugging the content. The water is hugging itself. We have fixed, which means just stay as you are, no changes. We don't want it to be touched, just stay the way you are. Then we have fill container. So this is the instruction we want this. We want it to fill this container. So you see it has gone from left to right. Now, if you click on that container that has the water content and you drag it from left to right, you can see that it's dragging, but it's not dragging exactly the way we want it to. So we come into this container, and that was why I told Emmanuel to chill. So inside this container now, we come over to this auto layout as well. We have space in between where is 174. So whenever it's in 174, it means that it is fixed. It means that we only want spacing of 174 pixels in between these elements. We don't want anything else. And as you can see, it is not like balanced properly. Like it's nudging towards the left. It's not really in the middle. So for us to make it fluid, for us to make it like draw soup, chewing gum, make it fluid, I need us to like use words that we can remember. We go into that space in between. Instead of making it 174, we click on this drop down. This is called a drop down. Any arrow down is called a drop down. We turn it to automatic spacing. Now it is very much balanced and everything has taken its place. So if we drag this from left to right, this is what we call a fluid design. As much as we want to drag it, you can see that they are all still maintaining their positions. It is still maintaining its position. Do you understand? Are we on the same page?
I'm lost too.
Okay, let me undo.
No ma.
Okay, let me undo. Don't worry. Over here, we are a pencil-centered design agency or design academy. When I mean pencil, I mean we have the right to make mistakes. So let's undo and start fresh, because auto layout has humbled many. And I think we should be open to the auto layout should just humble us, so we accept and then provide. Don't try to know too much when it comes to auto layout. Be gentle, so it will be gentle with you. So where did you get confused? Where did you lose me? And how do I help you?
So before the fixing and all, before the fixing of the header.
Okay, let me delete it. I think I'll delete it. Why I'm doing this is for us to understand as we go. But for the sake of, let's not be confused and to make it easy for us, when you're done designing here and you're ready to place it into your portfolio, into your frame, I think it's best for you to start from here to adjust it so it doesn't confuse you. So over here, you can see that the header is ready as the food that we need to eat. So you come over here to this space in between, horizontal gap between objects. So what it means that we have 174 pixel spacing between Chekube and this header links. We also have 174 spacing between the header links and download my resume. That is what it means. But right now, we are placing it into a frame with the sole aim of achieving a fluid design, a design that can enter any device. That's what we mean by a responsive and fluid design. So instead of 174, we are going to make it auto. We click on this drop down and select auto. So now it is automatically spaced. Auto layout has automatically spaced it. We don't know what number it chose. All we know is that auto layout has automatically spaced out this header. So we copy, control. We go over to other portfolio. We click on the frame by highlighting the name of that frame. Then we press Ctrl V to place. Ctrl V. So from here, I want us to, like I mentioned before, see auto layouts, the sense, the idea of auto layout as water and container. If you want to add ice block into a container, it doesn't take up the space. If you want to add water, it takes up the shape of whatever, whether it's a gallon, water, nylon, anything you want it will take up that shape. So we are considering this header water, and we want to fill this frame, this others portfolio. We want to fill it with the header. So what do? We click on the header. We'll go over to the auto layout section on the width, because it's the width that we want to fill up. We want to fill up the width of this particular frame. We click on this drop down here. It gives us 3 options, where one is to hug. You're telling the header content to hug itself, not the container. That is not what we want. Then we have fill container. You're telling it to fill up that container. So once you click on it, it fills up the container, the width of the container. Do we understand now? Did I help you out? Did I make it more difficult? If I did, please just record your questions to be answered in the community. So did I answer your question? Are we on the same page now?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. To do the hero section. In this hero section, we have this text. This is what we call hero text. A hero text, when you're in your design system or when you're developing, is usually the H1. So the hero text is the biggest when it comes to hierarchy. Is the H1 like the biggest when you're building your system, your design system, your typography. So the H1 is always bigger. It's like the header, it's like the title text. So all the other ones where you have recent project is called subtitle. They are support, like they're not as big as this hero text. So for this particular hero section, what we have here is we have a hero text, We have links that are underlined. We're going to understand why this is underlined very soon. And then we have another CTA button. And then we have image of that owns this particular portfolio. So I love breaking images like that is trying to learn. So we have text, we have links, and we have CTA button, that's call to action buttons. They are initiating, they're calling the user to take action. So that's why we call them CTA, call to action buttons. So we go over to designing them. I am Ada. So we're going to type it out by pressing T away from this frame. Can you stop hanging? You're making this stressful. So we're going to start typing. I am Chekube, a UI UX designer. Chekube laughing. I am Chekube, a UI/UX designer. I know we're not seeing. Try. Okay. I am Chekube, a UI UX designer. Then we break it. Break it by aligning under. UI designer who design or who solves, or should we say who focuses on designing accessible products, accessible solutions for users. Okay, we have a mistake here. Space it out. Break and continue. So we've typed this one out. And if you're looking at it, I'm sorry that this is blocking our way. I don't know if there's a way I can close it. I can't close it. You notice that the size is size 16, which is body text, and that is not what we are working with. Over here, we have the the title text as either 40 or 48. We have it as 40. Please come back. Thank you. We have this as 48 or 40. I'm trying to inspect the website with us first. Yes, we have it as 40. So we have to go back and make it 40. I'm going to solve this problem. So we're going with 40. Hope I'm not the only one. Hope I'm not the only one having this issue. I'm so sorry. My laptop is doing a whole lot at the same time, hence why it's slow. And it doesn't work this way normally. It doesn't actually. Okay, so we've highlighted the text and we go down to the font. We change the size from size 16 to size 40. So you can either choose, or you can type it in yourself. Highlight and type it in yourself. So those are the two options we have. Then we go from regular to bold or to medium. So let's go with bold since it's the title text. Now we've achieved that particular one. Then the next thing we are going to do is to design links. We have Instagram, we have Facebook, and we have Twitter links. Those links are there so that they can connect with Chekube, whether she wants her users or her customers or clients to connect on Instagram, Twitter, or Facebook. So we type T again, keep it over here, Facebook. We change this. As you can see, it's taking this particular shape. So let's take it back to 16, back to size 16, and change. Currently, our font has changed from the usual one we're using. So let's change it back to Inter. So we change it back to Inter, and change it from bold to regular, which is what we have there. Looking at what we are redesigning, we notice that the text is underlined. So we have to decorate this text to make sure that it is underlined and not just what we have. So if you look at this icon here, it says type settings. Whenever you see this icon, it means you can edit whatever it is. It means edit styles, edit setting, edit typography, edit variables. You click on it, come over to decoration and click on this to underline. Are we on the same page? Are we there? Are we there? Are we together? Chekube, are you there? Ore, are you there? Emmanuel, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay. Please respond when we ask questions. Let me be sure that I'm working with interactive session. I'm sorry that my laptop is stalling this. So we duplicate this on this side. Duplicate again. Remember, we have 3 links over here. We have 3 links over there. So we change it from Facebook to Instagram, and the other one, let's leave it as Twitter, which is now X. For the sake of this device design, we can just call it Twitter. So after designing this, we'll go over to where we have already designed this CTA button, that's download my resume. Knowing fully well that that's the same thing we have over here. We come over to this place, we just copy it by pressing Ctrl+C. Press Ctrl+C.
Excuse me, is this class recorded?
Yes, it's recorded, I think. Yes, it should. Please, Imam, can you answer the question? Yes, it's recorded. It's been recorded.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
You can get it after, or a link will be shared. So now you can see that we already have the 3 elements that we need for this our hero section. 1, 2, 3 on the left. So we group them as well using auto layout by highlighting all of them. We group them using auto layout, but we'll start from these micro links. Click on Facebook, click on Instagram, and click on Twitter, and press Shift A. When you press Shift A, it groups them together. So we just rename them to links. Come over to the auto layout section, add up and down padding of 8, left and right padding of 8 as well, so that our links, this particular container will be floating, and then we'll have space in between. And then we check the space in between is 16 pixels. So I can tell us now that we are ready to group our left side, or the left side of our design of our hero section. This is the left side, this is the right hand side. The left hand side contains text, links, CTA buttons like we all listed, while the right hand side contains the image of the user, the owner of the portfolio. So we go over to our design, where we are designing, and then we highlight all of them and group them all together using auto layout. And to add auto layout, to press Shift A. Check the spacing between. Let's just make the spacing between 36. So we can rename this to left container. Left container. Then we'll go over to, do we understand what I'm doing? Right now, we're going to work on getting this particular image. We can copy this image so that we don't confuse ourselves, because to get this image, we have to remove the background and do a whole lot. And I would not want to waste our time. We'll do that in our next class. Copy this image, paste it here. So we can say that we have left container, which consists of title text, consists of links, and then CTA buttons on the left-hand side, while we have the image of the owner of this portfolio, which is Chekube, on the right-hand side. So for the sake of our design, what we'll also do is to press hold the left container, press hold the picture as well. While press holding your shift, click on the left container and the picture and group them using auto layout by pressing Shift A as well. Now you've gotten the hero section. You rename them from frame to hero section. You come over to this side where we have the fill. We fill it with the same pink that she asked, like Chekube says she wants. So we're using this color picker. We click on the color picker. We go over to this place. We pick this pink for Chekube. So we close it. Looking at this design now, we can see that it's hitting edge to edge, like there is no space, unlike what we have here. We have spacing on the left and on the right. So for consistency purposes, to make our design neat, whatever padding system, whatever padding value you've started with, that is left and right margin system you've started with, of which what we are using here is 40 pixels on the left and the right. It is very much important that you continue with it, because that will make your design to be very, very tidy. It will make your design to be very pleasant to the eye. So we add 40 pixels. And instead of 179 pixels, which is the space in between, like we did here, like we did on the header on the header section, we turn it from 179. We click on this drop down and change it to auto and allow to automatically lay it out for us. The next thing we are going to do now is to copy. Click on this Ada's portfolio. That's the name of the frame, and paste it inside. As you can see now, this particular frame is bigger than the initial one, unlike what we had, as opposed to the first one, which was smaller. So we still click on it, this hero section, go over to the auto layout, click on the drop down, and click on fill. So do we have any other question? Do we have any question? Do we have any question? Mubarak, do you have any question? You've been quiet, but I know you were asking questions when we started. Emmanuel, do you have any question? Are you on the same page with us, or should we go back for anybody, or should we leave it for our next class? Please call the shots.
Let's leave it. That's why I asked earlier if I don't want to draw us back through. That's why I said was the class recorded, so I can, so I can go back to the class and then review it. I don't want to set others back, because I don't know if others might be busy. So I won't just set everyone back. So I feel we should just continue, and then and just send us the link to this class, so we can go back and review our mistakes.
Okay. Mubarak, are you there? Please, can we hear your own opinion? I've not heard your voice since we started. We have Mubarak, we have Aurelua, we have Evelyn, we have Talit.
Actually, I do support what he has just said, that we should just get a video to go back to the class, so we'll be able to simply review and probably repeat a few aspects that would want to get clarity on. So if there is no clarity coming from the video, maybe we should have questions on the group instead.
Okay, thank you so much. So we all agree that we should continue, because right now I would love to explain how this is also gotten, and then to make sure that it's easy for us. I don't want to leave anybody hanging or to make everybody confused. So we all agree to continue, and we're going to work on this body of this design, the body of the website. And then to do that, I want us to note that we had this designed once and we duplicated it in 4 places and changed the images. So we had this designed once. If you notice, they are all the same on all pages, like they are all the same. We have it the same here. We have the same design here. We have the same design here. So we also remember to be consistent and continue whatever you've already started. So you have aesthetic designs. So in that aspect, we remember that what we have here is an image, a card title. This is considered a card. So we have an image, we have a card, we have a subtitle text, then we have links as well, or we can call them buttons, and then we have an icon. So these were all brought together to make sure that we have a very interactive, a very wonderful portfolio, that Chekube will have a very interactive portfolio. So the first thing we are going to do, the first thing I would advise us to do is to always start with this particular one. I would always start with this, because once I get it right, I can always combine with any image or the image I'm working with. So for the purpose of this design, we're going to look at the size they are working with. If we had started initially, when we start making in the masterclass, when we start the class properly, we understand the need for a design system. We understand the need for having like a normal, like when you document the text that you're going to use for a certain device, for a certain container, or for a certain, a certain design and a certain situation. That's where we'll talk about design systems and making sure that we have responsive design system, not just until we are done. We would understand that there is a need to do that first before we start designing. So we're trying to get us to know and to achieve something here. So for this will be the last thing that we're going to do today, so that I don't get all of us confused or to frustrate each and every one of us with what we've already grabbed. So for the sole aim of this, we're going to take up what we have here is 20 pixel. So we type it out, press T here. We have 20 pixel medium. So we type T, type Lenify. Let's call this Lenify. That's the name of the project. Remember, what we are working with is Inter. Never forget. Working with Inter. We're working with medium. So let's change it to 90. Let's make this 20. So we've typed out this, and then we talk about the content is explaining what Lenify, the project, is all about. Body of the card. Take a peek into my creative and problem solving skills. Take a peek into my create problem solving side to my projects. I mentioned that the body of the text for a desktop design would always be 16. So we reduce it to 16. That's the font size 16 pixel, and change it from semi-bold to regular. So we're going to create another button here. We call these buttons, and we also create them using auto layout. So we type out text again. Type text. Text. So we're going to use one. Then after typing out edtech, the next thing we'll do is to add auto layout. So we add auto layout. Currently, this auto layout now, there is something we call stroke. This particular design has stroke all over it. That's why we can see that it's clickable. It looks like a box. So how do we box ours up? You scroll over to where you have stroke, you click on the plus sign, and it gives us our own stroke. But the stroke we have is in black. That's 0000. So we change it to hex code 1 to F. We want it to be white. So now we've boxed ours. We have our own edtech, we have our own button. So what do? We change it and call it project buttons. Project buttons. This particular project buttons has softer corner radius. So we choose project buttons, we choose a corner radius of 4 to make it a bit soft, which is what we have here. So as you can see now, we already have everything needed for this design. We have the Learnify, which is a card title. We have the body text, which is take a peek into my creative and problem solving side. Then we have these buttons that labels what the kind of project and the kind of things that were used in achieving that project. So we're going to duplicate them into 3 places and group them using auto layout. So to duplicate, we press Command D or Control D. So we duplicate in 2 places. For the sake of time, we change the content from EdTech to SAS. Second one, JavaScript. Yes, so now we can see that we've had like the equal number of elements that we need to achieve the content of that card. Remember, we are going to group elements together. So the elements that we're going to group together are EdTech, JavaScript, and SAS. They all belong together. We've not learned the rules in design, but one of the rules I want us to take away is that elements that are perceived to be the same are grouped together. That is a law of proximity when you're talking about design. So if things are considered the same, you group them together. So if they are considered buttons and they do the same, they serve the same purpose, please group them together, which is why we are going to group these project descriptions. We are going to group them all together using auto layout. And to do that, we highlight and press Shift plus A. And after doing that, we rename. So let's call them label. Highlight all and group them using auto layout. So highlighting wrong. We group them using auto layout. After highlighting, we press Shift A. And rename them from mere frame to say, okay, we can call them card content. Card content. So first thing first, we've gotten this. Now the next thing is to look for an image. Without wasting our time, I will just have to copy this image here. In the next class, I will introduce us to resources, plugins on how to get images, how to get icons, and a whole lot of plugins will be introduced to us in our next class. So we can generate any type of image we want on Figma. So we paste this here. I copied using Command or Control C, and I'm pasting using Control or Command V. Now I'm going to group them both together. So we achieve that button. And how do I do that? By pressing both of them, highlighting both of them, and pressing Shift plus A. Remember, all we use to group is auto layout. Shift plus A. We don't do Control G over here. We do Shift plus A. Or you right click using your mouse to get those options where you add auto layout. So this spacing is too much. We don't need the spacing. We take it down to 0. Over here, you can see that it went from it's at 55. Let me undo. If you check here that is highlighted, you can see that the spacing between is 55. I'm listening.
So sorry, I forgot my mic was on.
Okay. Change it to 0. But you can see that we have enough space, but the space is not attached to this particular image. It seems like that spacing is attached to this particular container. So what do? We add left and right padding. So we add padding of, let's use 16. We've gotten this space here. Then up and down, we do 20. to fill this container. So now you can see that we've gotten exactly what we have here without even doing too much. So in the next class or when we are trying out this, because I want to give us this as a task, and I promise that we're going to be open to take all the questions you're going to ask us in the community, help you answer your questions one-on-one in case you need one. If you have questions or if you're working on it and you're having issues, please remember to contact us, because I would want us to stop here and take this as an assignment or as a task that we want us to present later. At least when we have this and we achieve this in our next class, I promise that it's going to be very much interactive and better than this, and you would enjoy it better, because by the time you join next week, I know you must have practiced, I know you must have found ways to come up to the same page with everybody, and we'll also explain better and have more time for each and every one of us. So thank you so much for coming to this class. Now we're going to have to take questions. Any question that you have, any confusion that you have, please present them right now. Let's answer them before we go. Do we have any question? We're welcoming questions now.
Thank you very much, Noye. That was a very, very deep, direct to hard session. I'm sure everybody, Adipoye, that's people I'll show you what Uki Mubarak. Yeah, go ahead. Your hand is up.
Sorry, it's not very much of a question. It's just a little confirmation. Sometime at the beginning of the session, there was this part where you duplicated some objects, I would say. So what's the difference between duplicating them and having to copy and paste it?
Please, I didn't understand. If you're asking the difference between duplicating a design and copying and pasting a design.
An object. There was this part at the beginning.
Yeah.
I would call it maybe the header.
Yes.
Or the hero design. There was this aspect where you duplicated one particular object 3 times.
Yes.
So I'm trying to just get clarity concerning it. That if I copy and paste it, would it make a difference, or it just has to be duplicated by all means?
Okay. To the best of my practical knowledge, whenever I copy and paste, it allows me to maybe copy and place wherever I want it to. That's when I'm talking about Figma. I can copy, I can take it even to the next page. I can take it to anywhere. I can even copy on my anywhere and come and paste it on Figma. That's copy and paste. But when I'm doing duplicate for Figma, you can do duplicate and Figma, or should I say the Figma environment, realizes that there is a minimum amount of spacing you need for that object. If your first duplicate is you duplicated Command D and the spacing between is 24, without clicking on anywhere, if you duplicate again, Figma obeys that law of that spacing. It will press Command, it will give you that spacing of 24 pixels. So let's say you're trying to align something without making a mistake and you duplicate. That is what Figma does for you. But if you copy, you cannot, it does not obey that spacing. It will not recognize the fact that you're trying to duplicate something, you're trying to replicate something, you're trying to duplicate something and maintain that particular spacing. So that's the difference between duplicating and copying. When you copy, you can copy from this page to another page, from another design to another design page to another design, from one design page to another design page. But duplicating is even around the element that you're duplicating. It's exactly around that element. So maintaining the spacing, or most times it will overlap. So that is what duplicate does for me. That is what duplicates it to the best of my knowledge.